Have you ever wondered why so much self-help advice feels shallow, even when it sounds good? What if the answers you're looking for aren't in more motivation, but in ancient wisdom? Today, let's uncover Stoic truths that modern self-help can't teach you, truths that will keep you calm, clear, and truly resilient. Welcome to Marcus Aurelius Stoic Resilience. Here we don't promise you quick fixes or shiny motivational slogans. We offer you something deeper, something older, something proven by centuries of real human struggle. Today, we're going to explore Stoicism versus modern self-help. Not to dismiss one or worship the other, but to see clearly what lasts and what truly helps. Because modern self-help often says, you can have it all, while Stoicism asks, but do you need it? Self-help says hustle harder, while Stoicism says focus on what you can control. Self-help says you're special, while Stoicism says remember, you're mortal. This video is for anyone tired of empty affirmations and ready to think deeply about how to live. Together, we'll look at 10 Stoic questions, each one designed to change how you see your life. We'll go slow, we'll reflect. We'll connect ancient wisdom to modern problems so you can face them with calm and clarity. So grab a quiet space, get ready to think. Let's begin with our first question. Question 1. What do you actually value? What do you actually value? Not what sounds good on paper. Not what your friends say you should want. What do you truly care about? Because knowing this changes everything. Seneca says, if you don't know what port you're sailing, to no wind is favorable. If you don't know your destination, how can you steer your life? Ask yourself, is it money, status, security, family, meaning, freedom? Take a moment. Really think, because most of us rush. We chase everything without asking if it's even what we want. Modern self-help will tell you to hustle, to grind, to level up, but to what end? To be busy isn't to be alive. To be successful isn't to be fulfilled. When you know what matters, you can ignore what doesn't. You can focus your energy. You can say no without guilt. So ask yourself this every morning. What do I value today? What do I want to stand for when I look back on this life? Because the Stoics teach us, it's not about having more goals. It's about having the right ones. Question 2. Who are you spending time with? Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. Gertrude said it. Seneca said it. Even your parents probably said it. But do we listen? Modern self-help says network up, but the Stoics say choose wisely. Seneca warns us, you will become like the people you spend time with. So ask, who are you reading? Who are you talking? 2. Who are you imitating? Are they pulling you toward the person you want to be, or pulling you away? This question isn't easy. It might force you to spend less time with people you love, but who hold you back. It might mean finding new communities. But think about it. Every conversation is shaping you. Every friendship is planting ideas, habits, values. Marcus Aurelius asked himself daily if he was living by his values or someone else's. We should do the same. Because in a noisy world, the people closest to you will define your calm or destroy it. Question 3. Is this in my control? The Stoics say this is the key question. Epictetus called it the chief task of philosophy. Modern self-help says manifest your dreams as if you can control the universe. But the Stoic says know what you can control and release what you can't. It's raining today. You can't stop it. You can choose your attitude. You lost your job. You can't undo it. You can decide how to respond. We spend so much energy fighting what we can't change. We exhaust ourselves worrying about what others think, obsessing over outcomes we can't guarantee. The Stoic asks, is this mine to change? If yes, act. If no, accept. And in that acceptance, there is freedom. Seneca says, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. So this question isn't a slogan. It's a practice. Ask it when you're anxious, when you're angry, when you're lost. Is this in my control? Question 4. What does your ideal day look like? Seneca said, a life is made of days. Annie Dillard said, how we spend our days is how we spend our lives. Modern self-help says dream big, but forgets to ask, how do you want to live day to day? Because if you don't know what a good day looks like, you'll chase the wrong life. More money, more status, more yeses, more obligations. But does any of it make you happier? Take a moment. Picture it. Your ideal day? Is it quiet? Busy? Creative? Connected? For me, it's waking up early. Writing. Exercising. Playing with my kids. Walking outside. No pointless calls. No racing around. No endless tasks. When I know that vision, I can ask, is this opportunity pulling me toward or away from it? This question saves you from saying yes to things that don't matter. It forces you to design your life, not drift through it. Because at the end of your life, you don't remember your net worth. You remember your days. So shape them with intention. Transition to page 2. We've begun with 4 questions. That can change everything. What do you value? Who do you spend time with? What's in your control? What does your ideal day look like? But we're just getting started. On page 2, we'll dig into even harder questions about your motives, your fears, your legacy. These aren't easy to ask, but they're necessary if you want to live with Stoic clarity. So take a breath, get ready, and let's go deeper. Page 2, next set of questions with natural transitions. Question 5, to be or to do. This question isn't new, it's ancient, but it might be the most important choice you ever make. Modern self-help celebrates appearances, the titles, the followers, the clout. But the Stoic asks, do you want to look important or do you want to accomplish important things? John Boyd, the great strategist, mentored his students with this question. To be or to do? Do you want the credit or the results? Do you want applause or impact? Because you can't have both. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire on earth, but his private journal wasn't for the Senate, the army, or the people. It was for himself, a place to remind himself, stay humble, do the work, live rightly even when no one is watching. Ask yourself, am I trying to be someone or do something? Because the world rewards being seen, but your soul knows the truth. Which path are you on? Question 6. How are you measuring your life? If you don't know your measure, you'll take someone else's. Modern self-help loves metrics. Followers, dollars, likes, milestones. But are those really yours? Hillel said, if I am not for myself, who is? But if I am only for myself, what am I? It's a balance. You must fight for yourself, but not lose sight of others. Ask, what matters most? Is it attention, status, comfort, or is it integrity, impact? Connection. Think about George Marshall, who turned down the glory of leading D-Day so the plan could succeed without politics. He didn't need the spotlight. He wanted the mission to succeed. How do you measure your life? By what you get or what you give? By who you impress or who you help? By ego or by service? Seneca says, "Euthymia is knowing your path and not being distracted by others who wander hopelessly in every direction." Measure your life by your values, not theirs. Question 7. What am I missing by worrying? Fear is a thief. It doesn't just make you suffer, it blinds you. Modern self-help says don't worry, as if it's that easy. The Stoic doesn't ignore fear. They interrogate it. Gavin de Becker in The Gift of Fear writes, "When you worry, ask, what am I choosing not to see right now? Because every moment you spend worrying about one thing, you're ignoring another. When you're anxious about what might happen, you miss what is happening. When you fear rejection, you miss connection. When you obsess over outcomes, you forget the process." Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Next time worry takes hold, pause. Ask, what am I not seeing? What am I missing while I'm lost in fear? Because life is short, and worry steals the only thing you really have, the present. Question 8. Are you doing your job? It sounds simple, but it cuts deep. Modern self-help might tell you to delegate, to hustle smarter, not harder. But Stoicism says, are you doing your job? Not theirs, not avoiding it, not blaming others. Your job. Bill Belichick made this a mantra. Do your job? Sean Payton put it on the walls of the Saints facility. Because in crisis, when things get hard, the temptation is to point fingers, to focus on what's not your responsibility. But the Stoic knows that's wasted energy. Your job might be to listen, to lead, to create, to help, whatever it is do. It fully, with presence, with integrity, because you can't control everything, but you can control what you do. And in a noisy world, doing your job with quiet excellence is revolutionary. Question 9. What is the most important thing to you? If you don't know this, nothing else matters. Modern self-help will give you endless goals, but the Stoic says, which one matters most? What would you sacrifice everything else for? Seneca said, if a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. If you told me I could sell 10 times as many books, but lose my marriage, I'd say, forget it, because I know what matters most. This question isn't easy. It requires brutal honesty. Is it your family, your art, your health, your integrity? Name it, write it down, protect it. Because if you don't know your most important thing, you'll be tricked into chasing 1,000 unimportant things. And life will slip away in the noise. We've asked hard questions so far. What do you value? Who do you spend time with? What's in your control? What does your day look like? Are you trying to be or to do? How do you measure your life? What are you missing by worrying? Are you doing your job? What is most important? But the Stoic journey doesn't end here. On page 3, we'll go even deeper. We'll look at questions of mortality, legacy, and identity, the kinds of reflections that transform not just your mindset, but your entire life. So take a breath. Let's keep going. Let's go deeper into Stoicism and into ourselves. Page 3. Deeper questions, emotional storytelling. Question 10. Who is this for? Modern self-help loves to talk about finding your audience, or knowing your market. But the Stoic approach is even simpler and more personal. Who are you doing this for? Who is it for? Because when you don't know, you're just making noise. I see so many creators, entrepreneurs, even parents who don't really know. They're guessing, they're hoping. But if you can name who it's for you, unlock clarity. Seneca wasn't writing letters for the world. He wrote them for one friend, Lucilius. Marcus wrote for himself. Epictetus taught his students, not the masses. When you know who it's for, you speak with honesty. You serve with precision. Ask yourself, who is this for? Your work, your words, your choices, they land differently when you know the answer. Who do you want to help? Who do you want to reach? Who do you want to change? Question 11. Does this actually matter? Most of what we obsess over? It doesn't matter. Modern self-help wants to optimize everything, but the Stoic wants to eliminate what doesn't matter. Marcus Aurelius said, "Ask yourself at every moment, is this essential?" Because so much of our energy is wasted on the inessential, the petty fight, the ego-driven post, the unnecessary purchase. But when you strip it down, you see clearly what really matters. Colbert lost his father and brothers in a plane crash. His mother asked him, "Can you look at this in the light of eternity?" It's a devastating question, but a clarifying one. If you can see your problem in the light of eternity, does it matter? Because when life hits hard, you realize most of what you worry about doesn't matter at all. People matter. Love matters. Integrity matters. Ask yourself daily, does this matter? Is this essential? Question 12. Will this be a live time or dead time? We have a choice with every moment. A live time or dead time. Modern self-help might call it productivity, but that misses the point. Robert Greene asked me this when I was lost. Will this be a live time or dead time? Seneca said, it's not that life is short, it's that we waste a lot of it. We kill time while time kills us. What's dead time? It's the passive waiting, the mindless scrolling, the self-pity. What's a live time? It's learning, creating, connecting, healing. Even in crisis, even in lockdown, you choose. Do I wait for life to start again, or do I use this time to build myself? When you choose a live time, you change your trajectory. It's not about hustling 24/7s. It's about making your moments matter. Treat every moment like a lifetime, because it is. Bonus question. Is this who I want to be? Maybe the most powerful question of all, because everything else flows from it. Modern self-help tells you to visualize your goals, but Stoicism asks you to visualize your character. Is this who I want to be? Am I acting like the person I claim to be? Every interaction is a test. Am I patient? Am I kind? Am I honest? Or am I giving in to ego, to fear, to anger? Cheryl Strayed said, "You're becoming who you're going to be, so you might as well not be an asshole." Stoicism agrees. It's not about perfect behavior, but about returning again and again to your highest self. Is this worthy of me? Is this aligned with my values? Because how you do anything is how you do everything. Your character isn't built in grand gestures. It's shaped in tiny choices every day. So ask, is this who I want to be? Viktor Frankl's last question, what does life ask of you? Viktor Frankl survived the camps, and he flipped the most common question on its head. We ask, what is the meaning of life? But he said, actually, life is asking you that question. Life is asking, what will you do? Who will you be? How will you respond? Your choices are your answer. Your actions are your philosophy. The Stoics would nod in agreement, because it's not just about knowledge, it's about practice. It's about responding to life with virtue even when life is brutal, especially when it is. Your life is asking you questions every day. What answer will you give? We've walked through these 12 questions together. We've challenged ourselves to go deeper, to see beyond the easy answers. But Stoicism isn't about one-time reflection. It's about building these questions into your daily practice. On page 4, we'll explore how to do that. How to make these questions part of your routine, your mindset, your way of seeing the world. Because asking them once is easy. Living them every day, that's the Stoic life. Let's continue this journey. Page 4. Living the questions daily. Making Stoic questions a daily ritual. It's one thing to hear these questions once. It's another to live them. Because real change doesn't come from a single moment of inspiration. It comes from repetition, reflection, practice. The Stoics didn't want fans. They wanted practitioners. They didn't write for applause. They wrote for transformation. So how do you make these questions part of your life? Start with 1. Each morning ask yourself, what is the most important thing today? Set your compass. Because when you don't choose what matters, you let the world choose for you. Emails, notifications, expectations, they hijack your day. But one question in the morning can change your direction. Can you give yourself 5 minutes to ask, what matters today? What is essential? Evening reflection. A Stoic practice. Marcus Aurelius ended his days by reviewing them. Not to shame himself, but to learn. He would ask, where did I act with courage? Where did I lose my temperance? Where did I show wisdom or fail to? Where was I just? This isn't punishment, it's feedback. Seneca called it an audit of the soul. And like any good audit, it reveals opportunities. A Stoic knows you can't change what you don't acknowledge. So every evening, take 5 minutes. Write it down. Say it out loud. Make it a ritual. Where did I live by my values today? Where can I do better tomorrow? Stillness in a loud world. Modern self-help says hustle harder. Do more. Be more. But the Stoic says, be still. Listen. Reflect. Because you don't need to control everything. You only need to control yourself. Epictetus taught, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Real freedom isn't about bending the world to your will. It's about releasing what you can't change. When you feel overwhelmed, pause, breathe. Ask, is this in my control? If yes, act. If no, let it go. Stillness isn't passive, it's powerful. It's the root of clear thinking. The Stoic journal, your personal dojo. Your journal isn't for pretty words. It's a training ground. Marcus Aurelius never wrote for us. He wrote for himself. His meditations are reminders. Corrections, encouragement. They're raw, honest, human. So grab a notebook. Don't worry about spelling. Don't worry about style. Worry about truth. Ask yourself, who am I spending time with? Is this in my control? What does my ideal day look like? Am I trying to be or to do? What am I missing by worrying? Am I doing my job? What is the most important thing? Who is this for? Does this matter? Is this alive time or dead time? Is this who I want to be? What is life asking of me? Write freely. Read it back. Learn from it. That's how philosophy becomes practice. The Stoics' long game modern self-help sells hacks, quick fixes, 30-day plans. But Stoicism plays the long game. It doesn't promise to remove suffering. It teaches you to endure it, to learn from it, to grow through it. The Stoic doesn't ask, "How can I avoid pain?" They ask, "How can I use it? How can I remain true to my values even here?" Every day is training. Every challenge is a lesson. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. So don't wish for easy. Wish for strength. Build it with these questions. Return to them daily. Speaking to yourself with honesty, the world lies to you. Marketing lies to you. Even your own ego lies to you. But your journal your reflections. They can tell you the truth. If you let them, don't write to impress anyone. Write to see yourself clearly, to hold yourself accountable, to become the person you want to be. Because self-deception is easy, but self-awareness is freedom. The Stoics weren't saints. They were humans like us, struggling, trying, failing, beginning again. That's the practice. That's the path. We've talked about making these questions part of your daily ritual. But what does it all lead to? What happens when you live this way, not for a week, but for a lifetime? On page 5, let's look at the grand reflection, the deeper reason Stoicism still matters, and how living with these questions isn't just personal growth, but a gift to the world, ready to finish strong. Page 5, the grand reflection. Why Stoic questions still matter? Why do these questions matter? Let's step back. Let's ask the biggest question of all. Why do these questions even matter? Why wrestle with them every day? Why make them a ritual? Because these aren't just prompts for self-improvement. They're invitations to live on purpose. In a world pushing you to react, to chase, to consume, these questions pull you back to yourself. They force you to pause, to choose, to become. Marcus Aurelius didn't write to be admired. He wrote to remind himself who he wanted to be. Epictetus didn't preach to impress crowds. He taught to set people free. Seneca didn't write letters to boast. He wrote to help a friend think clearly. This is the true heart of Stoicism. Not about sounding smart, but about living well. Living with intention in a loud world. Modern self-help often tells you to chase your dreams at any cost, to grind, to hustle, to be more. But Stoicism asks, more of what? For who? For why? It doesn't reject ambition. It refines it. It doesn't kill emotion. It understands it. It doesn't promise ease. It teaches readiness. Living with these questions means refusing autopilot. It means no longer drifting into someone else's goals. No longer reacting blindly to every provocation. No longer being ruled by impulse or fear. It means you decide, you choose, you lead yourself. The ripple effect of a calm mind. Ask yourself this. What happens when you show up calmer? More focused, more principled. You don't just change your own life. You change your relationships, your family, your team, your community. A calm mind calms others. A just action inspires justice in others. Your courage gives permission to others to be brave. When you choose to reflect daily, honestly, you don't just serve yourself. You serve the world. Because you become the kind of person the world needs more of. The final question, who are you becoming? Here's the question Stoicism always circles back to. Who are you becoming? Not just what are you achieving, not just what are you earning, but who are you choosing to be every day? Because you're becoming someone with every choice, with every habit, with every reaction, with every word you speak. So ask, is this who I want to be? Is this choice aligned with my values? Is this the example I want to set? Is this the life I want to look back on? Stoicism isn't easy, but it's worth it. The Stoics never promised ease. They promised clarity. They didn't offer shortcuts. They offered questions that cut to the truth. Modern self-help sells comfort. Stoicism sells resilience. Modern advice offers popularity. Stoicism demands integrity. Modern thinking says, follow your feelings. Stoicism says, examine them. Which one will you choose? Because in the end, you don't have to follow these questions. You get to. They're tools, gifts passed down for thousands of years, ready for anyone brave enough to use them. The Stoic mirror, seeing yourself clearly. This is the power of reflection. It's a mirror, not always flattering, but always honest. When you ask these questions daily, you see yourself truly, your strengths, your flaws, your progress, your failures. And with that honesty comes freedom. Because only when you see yourself clearly can you change, can you grow, can you choose a better path. The gift you give the world when you do this work, when you live with these questions, you're not just changing yourself, you're changing your impact. You become the parent who listens, the friend who supports without judgment, the leader who acts with integrity, the citizen who thinks before speaking. That is the Stoic promise. Not perfection, but progress. Not control over the world, but mastery of yourself. Not the elimination of pain, but the discovery of meaning in it. The Stoic legacy, your legacy. So before we close, let's ask together, what kind of legacy do you want to leave? Not just in your work, but in your relationships, in your children, in the way people remember how you made them feel. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What we do now echoes in eternity." Your questions, your choices, your actions, they ripple outward. So choose them carefully. Choose them consciously. Choose them courageously. Thank you for walking this path with us. If this message brought you even a moment of clarity, welcome to the channel. We're just getting started. Join us for more reflections, more questions, more honest conversation. Subscribe, share, and let's build a community grounded in wisdom. Until next time, stay grounded, stay grateful, stay stoic.